Welcome to SVGTV News for Thursday, December 30th, 2021. I am Rochelle Batiste with the details. Face-to-face instruction at all schools across St. Vincent and the Grenadines will resume on Monday, January 3rd, 2022. For over a year, the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruption of the La Soufrière volcano affected the resumption of face-to-face instruction. Last December, a spike in COVID-19 cases forced the closure of school after the Christmas break. Students were scheduled to return to the physical classroom on April 12th this year, but the explosive eruption of the volcano placed this on hold, as many of the nation's schools were used as emergency shelters. On Monday, November 1st this year, some schools reopened in full for face-to-face classes, while others were using a blended format. The Ministry of Education at that time said the recommended format for the operation of schools across the island was based on the percentage of staff vaccinated and adherence to the health protocols in light of the ongoing threat of COVID-19. In a news release issued last evening, the Ministry of Education said, in consultation with the Ministry of Health and the Environment regarding the safe reopening of schools, it has taken the decision to resume face-to-face engagement for all primary and secondary schools and technical institutes, commencing on Monday, January 3rd, 2022. The ministry said the strict adherence to the established health protocols and the cooperation of all stakeholders are essential requirements for the delivery of quality education to the nation's students in a safe learning environment, and said it anticipates the cooperation of all stakeholders during this period of extraordinary circumstances. The national scholarships and exhibitions for 2021 are expected to be announced soon. So said Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, who on the radio yesterday said that government is closer to making the announcement as the names were expected to be presented to Cabinet. The Prime Minister said the delay of the awards were mainly due to the COVID-19 pandemic, the eruption of La Soufrière volcano, among other challenges.
Awarding the scholarships for the results from 2021 a little late because, the exams the exams were late because of the volcano. And in addition, there are a number of students who had queried this or that of their results. But enough time has passed, and if there is any further reconciliation to be done, it would be at the margins here or there by CX,
Yes.
And that shouldn't hold us up going forward, and I wanted to get this out of the way before this year was over. So hopefully the young people will be getting some good news.
PM Gonsalves said while he knows how many students will be awarded the scholarships, he has to wait for Cabinet's approval, noting that despite many challenges in 2020, there were no decrease in the scholarships awarded.
Despite COVID and the contraction of the economy, something which we didn't touch at all. We didn't reduce the numbers of scholarships and exhibitions and bursaries, tuition scholarships and the like. And we even went and gathered more, fortunately, like through the University of Wales, Trinity St. David, and one or two other places. That was a dramatic one. And we see the work which was done by the ambassador in Taiwan, our ambassador in Taiwan, from eight scholarships in relation to tuition for the next 5 years.
Yes.
8 each year.
The Prime Minister further noted that he is generally pleased with students' overall performances at this year's CAPE exams, some of whom will be awarded a national scholarship or an exhibition.
Domination, but the students did fairly well, and particularly the students in the sciences did very well at those who wrote CAPE. And you have a lot of students who have done well in the division of teacher education. In other areas too, at the technical division of technical and vocational education, but the significant numbers of persons did well in teacher education.
The underperformance of male students locally has not gone unnoticed by the government, which will be taking steps to address the matter. PM Gonzalez said an analysis of the results for this year's CSEC and CAPE examinations show that while boys usually do well at the Caribbean Primary Exit Assessment Examination, thereafter the numbers drop.
There's a preponderance of women to men. The males are not performing as well as the females at that particular level. The males seem to be doing pretty well up to the level of the senior, the CPEA, and even at the level of CSEC.
Right.
But somewhere between those two areas, that's the hypothesis, that's the thesis I'm advancing.
PM Gonzalez said a holistic approach will have to be taken to address the problem, which he said is not only an SVG problem.
And therefore we need to look at that. So we need to look at that very carefully as a society and in our homes. Okay? Even at the CSEC level too, but it doesn't appear stark in its contrast in terms of excellent performances now. That seems to be a continuing trend. It looks as though it's across the region. Some say across the world. And it's something which we need to look at carefully and have see what measures can be taken appropriately. In the homes, in our schools, or post-secondary educational institutions or tertiary educational institutions, society as a whole.
In other news, the Royal St. Vincent and the Grenadines Police Force today issued a reminder to the general public that it is a criminal offense to produce, make available, distribute, procure, possess, or obtain child pornography through a computer system or on a computer data storage medium under the Cybercrime Act 2016. The warning comes in light of a video which has been circulating on various mediums in which a child is seen performing a sexual act on a man who is now in police custody. The RSVG police force is encouraging persons to desist from sharing or storing the pornographic video and to delete it, noting that it is very damaging to the child and can affect her in the future. The force says failure to comply with this order may result in persons being dealt with in the most serious of the manners prescribed by the Cybercrime Act 2016, subsection 14 of the laws of St. Vincent and the Grenadines. A person who commits an offense under this subsection is liable on summary conviction to a fine of $300,000 or to imprisonment for 7 years or both, or on conviction on indictment to a fine of $750,000 or to imprisonment for 20 years or to both. Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves yesterday addressed concerns and questions raised by persons who called into his weekly radio program on NBC Radio about names of fishermen and other persons being removed from the list of persons receiving relief support from government in light of the impact of the COVID-19 pandemic and the eruption of La Soufrière volcano. The Prime Minister said that it is highly unlikely that that it happened, as there is a process involved in giving out any form of assistance, but noted that queries can be made by the affected persons.
No, if you had received money, your name should not be removed, unless of course you should not have received in the first place. But these are things, sometimes these things happen, and I just want to say nobody goes out to remove anybody's name. So if there's any problem there, a bona fide farmer with his farmer's ID, working, farming, everything is fine. You just go and see the chief, the permanent secretary
the Minister of Agriculture.
in the Ministry of Agriculture. Or you can touch base with Saboto, the minister, or you can drop me a note, Leave it by Angie.
The Prime Minister said that an investigation can also be made into the matter by the respective government agencies.
I didn't have a person name. I've heard of persons whose names were not on, but not who had gotten and then didn't get. That it would be a highly unusual case, and more than likely, it's maybe an error. I don't know. But we can find out.
Another issue raised on the radio program was that some persons in Georgetown were not receiving any form of assistance from the government, even though they are in the red zone and were also affected by the volcanic eruption. The Prime Minister said if this has happened, persons should lodge their information and complaints with the relevant authorities, including his secretary.
A lot of people in Georgetown got relief support. If you have any persons who didn't get relief support, all I want you to do, contact me, contact Nemo. You go contact Michelle Fobbs at Nemo or the staff there, I can contact me. Contact me at the office. You can write a letter, send a message. The phone number is in the directory for the office. It's easy to get. In any case, the office number is 4561703, and somebody would be with the answer it. Naturally, a lot of people will be calling. So if you call once and you don't get, I don't want you to say, well, me call, but people dip on the phone all the time.
Yes,
well, the other people who call in, just have a little patience.
Venezuela's ambassador to SVG, Francisco Perez, has offered a space at the embassy in Rotterdam for cultural purposes. The ambassador made this announcement at the inaugural Christmas and Jazz concert held on Tuesday, December 28, 2021. It is the ambassador's hope that SVG's culture can be promoted in an interesting manner.
Hope that we can take this space for the cultural expression of St. Vincent and the Grenadines and repeat it annually. I spoke already with the Permanent Secretary of Culture, and I offer this space, this embassy, to promote the culture and the musician and artist, even poet, dancer, any kind of cultural activity that we can promote here in this premise.
The embassy's Christmas concert brought the curtains down on the celebrations of the 40 years of relations between St. Vincent and the Grenadines and Venezuela, which, according to the ambassador, has gotten stronger over the years.
The idea for this concert came from a conversation that we had with Gary Peters and Oswald William, and of course Andreina Bermudez and myself, where we express our interest in highlighting the values of love and peace, which means that the possibility of joint effort of different entities and institutions like the Minister of Culture, that we met before, and when we propose this activity, they just say yes, of course. So that with the little we have, we can share and celebrate that Venezuela and St. Vincent and the Grenadines are more united than ever.
Cultural Officer in the Ministry of Culture, Maxine Brown, welcomed the offer of the cultural space and lauded the initiative to have the Christmas concert, which was a vaccinated event.
Culture and by extension, the Ministry of Tourism, Civil Aviation, Sustainable Development and Culture has always worked well with the embassy. And so tonight it's really awesome to collaborate with you, the ambassador, his lovely wife, mi amiga Andrina, and by extension, the Bulgarian Republic of Venezuela, the embassy. And so we're here tonight to celebrate with you in music. Earlier, I heard the ambassador mention that he will lend us the space to do dance and craft and all the full works. We're going to take you upon that. And so, though we are here to celebrate the spirit of Christmas with this program, el programa is correcto? Yes. Christmas and jazz, La Navidad y jazz. We also are here to celebrate 40 years of diplomatic relations with the embassy. Put your hands together for our friendship.
Some of the performers at the concert were the Ultimate Five Band, Darren Andrews and the band, Jamoro Francis and Christiana Mack.